Okay, so this is gonna be a very basic one today. So I just want to go over one photo and something that I like to do to get as like a general rule of thumb. When I take photos and I feel pretty proud of them, I still look at them a couple days later after the fact, and I like to figure out if there's something I can improve. And this photo, it always kind of annoyed me. There's it's a little dark over here in this room right to the left, and then under the chairs is a little dark, and maybe a little bit in the hallway you can brighten up and all this stuff. And even though I always think it's good to get all these lighting situations perfected in person, in camera, right then and there, because it adds a better result in general. Um, Sometimes you make mistakes, and you need to correct them in post. But luckily, there's enough like editing options, and there's enough exposure latitude with raw files that you can oftentimes get away with creating a better image after the fact, and it just takes a little bit of editing knowledge. So for this one, we don't even need to go in Photoshop today. It'll be very simple. Um, we'll stay in Lightroom, and particularly for this one, I think it's a good image overall. It's 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 wide, it's pretty bright, you have good skylights. It kind of adds a little bit of dimension to the photo. But like I said, underneath the chairs and in this room particularly, I am wanting to brighten up. So I'm grabbing my brush. You go to this circular object here, and you're going to see the options and choose brush. And here's the brush panel. We won't really mess with that right now. And so what I do is I just start painting red, like using the brush to kind of paint in, this is the term, like red. The more dense the red is, the stronger the effect will be. So you have a bit of feathering capabilities here. So what I'll do is that, and I kind of just mess with the exposure panel. You could do highlights, adjust highlights, you can adjust exposure. I'm going to see what exposure looks like on this one. I'm just trying to get that room a bit brighter so it doesn't look so dead and dark. Top of the ceiling kind of has like a brighter area there. I'm trying to, I kind of like it though, because it kind of alludes to like window brightness. I'm just kind of trying to even things out here. So I think that looks pretty good, actually. Yeah, that's what it was before. That's what it is now. You can adjust this a little bit. You can also move. Kind of see the exposure moving a bit. I think right there looks really good. And then we'll deal with these stools on the floor here. And I'm painting. It's the same thing. The exposure's been bumped up. You can create another brush point right here if you want. Start over. That's easier to control things, which I oftentimes recommend. But for this one, I think I'll generally be all the same. But for this demonstration, I will use a separate brush point. And then again, I will up the exposure. And it just, look at the floor. It kind of has more a golden hue to it. It might be a little much. So you just kind of mess with that in a way that aesthetically pleases you. And this is one way, without even going into Photoshop or anything kind of crazy. Just adding some glow. Super simple fix. And then I think I'm going to do a touch back here. It's already pretty bright, but a little bit of like mild to overblown kind of gives the feeling of like fresh ambient air coming through a window, maybe through the back of the hall. I think I can kind of brighten things up, making things look more natural. So yeah, this is the before, and then this is the after. I'm going to do a full photo of it. I think that looks really good. Of course, you can get more detailed on it however you please, but I think this kind of solves the issue we're having of a dark left room, and the stools are a little dark, and the wood is looking a little more cherried and kind of saturated with color, which I really like. So that's the end of the tutorial for today. Thank you for watching.